The movie begins in Eastern Europe, Bukovina, 1735. A gypsy woman rides her horse and gets into a house. Inside the house, a young girl is being held by a lady, screaming and begging them to let her go. The gypsy woman makes the girl hold a cross and opens her arm open with a blade. She then pours blood on the wound after saying a spell. Soon another gypsy woman, Serena, gets in and starts a fight with the gypsy woman. She slams her across the room and bites her neck. Charlotte drives to her college where she got in with an athletic scholarship. She meets her dorm mate, Nicole. Nicole is from around there, so her parents live an hour away. She suggests to Charlotte to make their parents' visit be done at the same time, but learns that Charlotte doesn't have any. As Nicole heads out to eat, Charlotte is going to a job interview at a cafe where Nicole's friend Chris is the manager. Chris tells her she will be doing the afternoon shift as a starter and gets her uniform. At her college, she meets up with Dr. Duncan, the principal, who tells her that the scholarship is unconditional and she can go to him if she needs any help. While walking to her dorm in the dark, Charlotte hears whispers and sees a man with blood on his face before she falls. Her new coach, Professor Cole, who also teaches English literature, finds her. He tells her she shouldn't be walking alone at night and that he will see her in practice before he leaves. In their dorm, Charlotte met Nicole's friend, Eliza, who doesn't seem to fancy her much. Before they both go out, Eliza asks Charlotte about the new coach on their fence. Nicole offers her to go out with them, but she declines. That night, Charlotte had a dream of a man approaching her and touching her before he started throwing up blood on her. She started screaming and woke up in the hallway of the dormitory. She got back into her room. As she walked in, she found Nicole naked and making out with her boyfriend. She awkwardly got into the bathroom and took some pills before she got out. Nicole apologizes and asks her where she went, but Charlotte lies, saying she went for a walk. On her way in to wash up, Nicole tells her that Chris thinks she is cute. On their way to class, Nicole asks Charlotte if she is okay because she saw medicines in the bathroom. Charlotte tells her that she has vasothalassemia blood disorder. Professor Cole was teaching English literature where he talks about vampires and whether they can be compared to the devil and how society perceives them. Charlotte has a vision where a student's arm is being cut and she freaks out.
To an ogre.
Cole finishes up his class. On her first day at work, Charlotte meets Daciana, who is a regular customer there. She asked to see her necklace and told her it was a bloodstone before she said the word devenit un venator.
Devino un vanator.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Clueless Charlotte tells her she knows nothing of what she's saying. As for the necklace, though it was her mother's, Daciana sees the milk Charlotte serves her and starts mixing strangely and warns her to come to see her as soon as possible. Charlotte goes to her practice, and in the locker room, she talks with the captain of the team who requests she be called captain. On the fence practice, she and Sarah had a go at which Charlotte scored a point. Eliza gets mad when Charlotte wins a round with her. Chris comes to give her a tip of the day as Charlotte is leaving from her practice. They ran into Dr. Duncan and Chris left when the air between them got heavy. Dr. Duncan gives her a piece of advice to keep her attention on her practice.
Let's just make sure you keep your focus where it should be.
Of course.
As she gets to her room, she hears a voice from the other room, and she walks in on Sarah and a man doing it in bed. She sees a snake on Sarah, but it is not real. She hurriedly gets to her bathroom and takes pills before she sees Daciana through the mirror. When she turned around, she wasn't there. In the middle of the night, she has a dream about vampires with blood and her mother's necklace. The captain of the fence, Kelly, and the rest of them come to wake her up and play a drinking game in the woods. Charlotte tells her she won't drink, but they make her do it. After she got drunk, she walked to her room with half-naked Sarah, where the man from Charlotte's dream told them to go in fast before he got stabbed to death. Soon, Sarah and Charlotte started making out, and they went to bed for a heated session. After a bit, when Charlotte looks down, Sarah's mouth is filled with blood and she's turned into a vampire. Charlotte wakes up from the dream when her alarm goes off. She was late to class, and once she got there, Cole was lecturing about dreams and monsters. She falls asleep in the middle of the class and she has a fantasy where Cole is kissing her. Cole asks her not to doze off in his class. At the cafe, Charlotte was serving coffee when she saw the cup filled with worms, which weren't there, and she dropped it. Chris told her he would clock out for her, and she went to her dorm. Nicole was in the room and she told her that 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 had come by to drop off a book. Charlotte was sitting on a balcony when Chris came and told her not to worry about the mug she broke. As he walked her to the gym, he asked if she would like to join him and a few friends for camping by the lake on the weekend off campus. He kissed her and she said she would think about it. Eliza saw the kiss from inside the building. In the locker room, Isa tells Charlotte that Chris is on a bet that he would sleep with her and that she's been a victim of it once too.
So he's not gonna win that bet.
At practice, Charlotte couldn't concentrate and was being sloppy. Cole informs the team that the rookies won't be participating in their next game. Back at the shower, Sarah approaches her and tries to remind her about their last night's session, to which Charlotte reacts negatively when she tries to kiss her. Sarah gets the message and leaves. Charlotte gets undressed to shower, but she hears voices and follows them. One of the shower waters was running and she went to it, but blood started to run, and she just sat there. She is suddenly woken by Dr. Duncan outside. After checking she's fine, he insists that they have a talk, but she leaves to get some rest. The pill got spilled in the sink, and with them was one of her teeth. Blood starts dripping off of her mouth, and suddenly she's vomiting blood. Nicole heard her coughing and came to check on her. When Charlotte looks down, all the blood is gone and she hasn't even taken her pills out yet. At the next practice, Charlotte was still not fully focused, and once the session was over, Cole told her to be at her best before he kissed her. Once again, Eliza was the witness of the kiss. Charlotte and Cole start to practice where he hits her neck with the sword and makes her bleed. He then makes her leave. Chris asks Charlotte if she will be coming to camp with him, but she says no and leaves him hanging when her shift is over. At the dorm, she finds Eliza and Nicole having drinks, and she leaves when Nicole asks her to join them. She goes back to the gym, and Cole shows they start to kiss after he apologizes for his previous behavior. She wakes up on the gym floor and realizes Cole wasn't there. It was just a dream. She goes to her dorm and sees a pendant she's seen at 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿's shop, so she heads there. Dr. Duncan went to see Cole and informed him that there had been a complaint. Someone reported to Dr. Duncan that Cole was seen doing inappropriate actions with Charlotte. He tells Cole that he will have to open a file. Cole went in to get him water, but he disappeared. Duncan calls out his name. Cole was upside down, hanging from the ceiling while he choked Duncan. He bit his flesh and drank his blood while roaring and making weird sounds.
Professor Cole!
Charlotte was sitting with 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿. 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 took blood from Charlotte's hand and lit it with fire. She tells her that her blood has been altered and that it is vampire blood. Charlotte defended herself, saying she has a disease, but she starts to tell her about her ancestor Serena. She became a vampire. Her daughter was stolen from her before she got attacked by her mother. When asked how she knew all this, 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 answers that her ancestors were there. They helped create Charlotte's bloodline. The only way they could stop the creatures was to use their blood to transform their offspring. She tells her about Serena and what she did to Stephen, a man who sacrificed himself. She tells Charlotte this is her fate and she's there to guide her through it. Soon, the necklace Charlotte got from her mother starts to burn her skin, and 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 tells her that happens when a vampire is near. She learns that Charlotte is a virgin and explains that when vampires find a virgin from the bloodline, they use that pure blood to change themselves back into their human forms, but only if the virgin is Charlotte.
He can use this pure blood to change back into his human form, but only if the virgin, you, Charlotte.
𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 tells her that only happens if she willingly gives herself to him, but for that, she will suffer in hell eternally. Either she slays him or be slain, and that is the only way of the Dhampir. Charlotte says all of this is just crazy and leaves. 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 was startled as screams were heard, and a shadow of a man slaying a woman appeared on the wall. Charlotte goes up the elevator and finds a student putting flowers for Dr. Duncan's memorial, and learns that they found him dead on the interstate.
Dr. Duncan is dead. They found him on the interstate. He'd been attacked by some kind of animal.
She goes to her dorm and finds Nicole, who tells her Chris and her were very worried about her. But Charlotte confronts her about the bet, which Nicole tells her Chris would never do. Charlotte breaks a glass and she starts bleeding. She nervously asked Nicole if she could see blood and apologized for being mean to her earlier. Charlotte asks if she can still go camping with them. Out in the woods, they are all gathered by the fire. Soon, Nicole leaves with her boyfriend and Eliza starts making out with her guy. Chris and Charlotte decide to have a walk. It got dark while Charlotte and Chris were making out in the middle of the forest. Eliza's boyfriend was kissing her neck, and soon he turned into a vampire as he sucked her blood, to which she was unaware, until she saw blood running down her chest and started to scream, but no one came. Chris asked Charlotte if she was sure she wanted to do it, and she said yes. As they were getting intimate, Charlotte saw Cole's face, and Chris was taken into the dark sky as she screamed. The next morning, the police were questioning Charlotte if there was anything that she's seen she could tell them. But she tells them she knows nothing, except that she was with her friends. She went back to her dorm and found the book 𝐂𝐡𝐞𝐤 left her the other day. She saw a picture of a cross and a sword in the book, and she found the same cross in her drawer. She then went to Cole's house, which she found empty and with weird items. It was dark inside the house with candles all lit up. She finds a sword and starts walking around with it. Cole then makes himself shown and they start having a sword fight. He holds her against the wall and tells her he's been waiting his entire life for her, and he confesses that all he wants is to be human again. He starts kissing her and she asks him to show her the monster. He says no, but she insists. Soon Cole starts turning into a very scary creature. Charlotte tells him he is beautiful by calling him Stephen before she grabs the cross from her boot and stabs him with it. Cole hisses and bites Charlotte's neck. He rolls her over and she opens the curtains, making Cole set on fire and killing him. The movie ends.